voice of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a Friday afternoon where college basketball is king in this area. We are at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. A lot of folks here getting ready to watch the Tennessee-Vanderbilt game, which is starting about 30 minutes later than expected. It had a 2:30 start time originally, but the Kentucky-Florida game that preceded this was about a 2.5-hour marathon. And so right as we go on the air, Tennessee and Vandy kick off. So that's a little bit of what's going on in the world of sports. Parker Kelly is alongside, and my guess is he may have an update.
Yeah, a little bit of an update. George, first of all, do you like the jersey that I'm wearing today?
I really could care less one way or the other.
I'm assuming that because we're on the air together that we have to be cordial, but I'd imagine if we weren't on the air, we would not be on speaking terms.
Oh, I don't think that's the case at all. I'm not that wacko about it.
It's a big day nonetheless with Tennessee and Vanderbilt. They just tipped off. So, Brandon, if you will go ahead, sir, hit the music. All right, here we go, George. We have a full scoreboard update with games that have been taking place over the course of today. Let's start in the A-10. St. Louis, 88-81 winner over George Washington. St. Louis will advance to the semifinals. In the Big Ten, this was actually a really good game towards the end. Michigan, a 71-67 winner over Ohio State. Ohio State's been a really interesting team, George, because they started about a few weeks ago on the bubble, and now they're firmly in the tournament picture.
Yeah, and you wonder, I didn't get to see the game, but Michigan must have struggled a little bit. Ohio State's a decent team, but to me, they're not in Michigan's class, but they played like it today.
They did. It was a really good game, but Michigan, again, pulled away 71-67. Conference USA, Louisiana Tech, 69-66 winner over Missouri State. Louisiana Tech is one win away from another NCAA tournament appearance. Florida, the game that just preceded this one. Florida, 71-63 over Kentucky. That's the third time that these teams have met this season, and each of them have been within single digits.
So in watching the game, Kentucky had one big spurt about midway through the first half that really got kind of a partisan big blue crowd going. Other than that, it was Florida's dominance with the three big men inside. I mean, you talk about a luxury to have not one, not two, but three guys that are in that 6'10" to 7-foot range. Florida's loaded. They're going to be a handful.
And not to mention, one of their C team guys is the tallest man in college basketball. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's right.
So the games that just tipped off, Tennessee and Vanderbilt, it is 2-1 as Nate Ament just attempted a three, no good. So 2-1 Vandy early in that one. St. Bonaventure and Dayton late in the second half. St. Bonaventure is down 54-51. In the Big Ten, Illinois is up on Wisconsin 58-45. 12:38 remaining in the second half on the Big Ten Network. Sam Houston and Kennesaw State, the other semifinal matchup, the winner will take on Louisiana Tech in the championship game. Sam Houston's up 35-29 on Kennesaw State. And in the American, North Texas is up on Tulsa 24-14, 11 minutes remaining in the first half.
And that game being played in front of close family and friends.
Friends and family. So some coaching news in college basketball. Kansas State and Casey Alexander are working on finalizing the deal to make him the new head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats.
Really happy for Casey. I texted him earlier today. I'm sure there's some Belmont people that are disappointed but I can't blame Casey for wanting this. Certainly, it's a pay bump. No doubt about that part of it. But it's also an opportunity to try his stuff at the Power 4 level. And I don't think anybody can begrudge him that. He's going to do a good job there.
Oh, yeah. Taylor Barnett all the time just talks about how good of a basketball coach he is. Gentry Estes had a really good tweet yesterday that, Belmont is Casey Alexander's school. And the fact that he was never able to lead them to the NCAA tournament before taking a Power 4 job just shows you how hard it is to win in the mid-majors.
Well, in fairness, the COVID year, they were going to get in.
Yep.
Under the category of, okay, who ends up with that job? Having worked there, I will say that although I'm not convinced this is going to happen, Belmont people are very high on Tyler Holloway, who's now the head coach at CPA. It would not surprise me if they try to keep it, quote, near the Belmont family.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me.
Okay. The Big 12, I watched this game last night between TCU and Kansas, so another really good game in the Big 12. But they made the decision, or should I say Brett Yormark made the executive decision to swap the LED glass court that they were playing on to hardwood, and they got that overnight. So now they'll have hardwood courts for the semifinal game and the championship game tomorrow night.
So the court they were using, to me, is a pile of dog crap.
Yep. Looked
bad on TV, looked very dingy. Forget the fact that the players were having problems with it, and at least one injury has been attributed in part to that. I just don't get it. It's a bad look.
I don't know why they ever thought it was going to work. The players were complaining about getting migraines, and I couldn't imagine a glass court would not be, slick. It's going to be terrible.
Basketball courts are a thing of beauty.
Right.
That thing's ugly.
Yeah. And just because the NBA All-Star game used it doesn't mean you have to use it as well.
Right.
So Josh Schertz is closing in on an extension with St. Louis. I was actually surprised by that.
Which is interesting because there's a job that just came open a few minutes ago. Cincinnati fired Wes Miller that to me would kind of have him as sort of a lead candidate.
Yeah.
Cincinnati can be a really good job. Somebody is going to walk into, in my opinion, a potential gold mine there.
You just said it. Wes Miller has been fired at Cincy, and Providence has fired Kim English, who was a former assistant under Rick Barnes at Tennessee. And Jeff Capel is being retained by Pitt. If he were to be fired, there would be a $12 million buyout.
Yeah, and that's the only reason Jeff Capel is getting this reprieve is the money. Pitt has not been very good. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they are holding on to him. It'll be his ninth season when he returns for Pitt next year. So, George, the Titans revealed their new uniforms yesterday, and I'm going to share my screen here in just a second so you guys could see. And I thought the Titans did an excellent job with the presentation. So here's just a couple of quick tidbits. So Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward were the main models yesterday. As you can see, they're getting rid of the logo that we showed, many weeks ago is the confirmed logo. No flaming thumbtack, no swords. They seem to be moving off of that a little bit and embracing the Oilers color scheme.
Yeah, and it's probably closer to what the fans have wanted. They've always liked the Love You Blue out of Houston, the old Oiler look. Anything is an improvement over the dark blue vomit that they were wearing for years, which I don't know how anybody could have ever approved that. But, yeah, this is definitely an improvement.
I thought the Titans overall did a great job with the presentation of it yesterday. And some complaints, of course, there are going to be some complaints, but the main complaint that I've heard is The fact that it's not a red face mask and it's a white face mask, which I really don't think is that big of a deal.
Okay, put it back up. I guess I hadn't really thought about it all that much. Let's see what the white face mask as opposed to red.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. So, and the Titans will be getting an alternate uniform. They did not show that yesterday. And then potentially a rivalry uniform will be in the mix as well. So maybe up to 4 combinations. And the Titans finally released L'Jarius Sneed, according to Adam Schefter, and they will save $11.5 million in cap space because of it.
Yeah, and you knew this was coming.
Yep.
This appeared to be a thing where the Rand Carthon administration didn't do their due diligence as we look back on it, because Sneed has never been close to healthy and apparently came there, not healthy.
Yeah, and it was interesting because when the Chiefs decided to trade him, there were only 2 teams that were interested, and at the time he was playing like the best corner in the league. It was the Titans and Vikings, and the Vikings pulled out. So that should have raised some red, some alerts when that happened. Kyler Murray is going to join the Minnesota Vikings. That's not really a surprise there. On a 1-year contract, Minnesota will pay $1.3 million of Kyler Murray's $36.8 that he was set to earn with Arizona this year, and he has a no-trade clause on the contract.
Yep. It's sort of a message sent to J.J. McCarthy that if you're going to be an NFL quarterback, what you've shown in the first 2 years is not good enough. And frankly, not anywhere close.
And I love the fact that he's going to Kevin O'Connell because, George, I still think Kyler Murray has it. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he gets a lot of hate because of the Call of Duty stuff, but I think going to Kevin O'Connell is the right move here.
Oh, he might do very well there. It wouldn't shock me at all.
The Nashville Predators fell in a shootout last night to the Vancouver Canucks. Another one of those losses that just kind of left me scratching my head. 4-3 was the final, and yet they are still 1 point out of the final wild card spot in the Western Conference.
Yeah, now the loss as such is not one that you say, okay, this eliminates you from the playoffs, but it's absurd. You're up 3-1 in the third period with 6 minutes left. You need the extra point. The new general manager coming in, whoever that may be, is going to have to evaluate why there are these constant meltdowns under Andrew Brunette. And look, I don't know 3 years into this if Brunette has done a really good job with a team that maybe doesn't have the talent some other people do. But what I do know is that these collapses, these meltdowns under Andrew Brunette have happened way too much. And if I'm the general manager, the new one, I'm putting him on notice. We're not putting up with this crap.
That is why, George, I have no confidence that they'll make the playoffs, because you have a really good win over Seattle to kind of set the tone for this road trip, and then whatever happened last night happens after the game.
Yeah, and they may and they may not get in. The good news is, man, they are right there.
I know. At least they got, a point last night?
You get a point in an overtime loss, but Vancouver's a team you need to mop the floor with. Everybody else has. And to me, it's the kind of loss that has me saying, new GM, think about where this coaching staff is and why they constantly have this meltdown.
The last thing for me, tonight in the World Baseball Classic, the USA will take on Canada. Seems like all the U.S. teams are taking on Canada at this point. 7 p.m. first pitch on Fox.
Danny Evans will join us today at 4 o'clock. Canada has a Nashville Sound on their roster in Tyler Black.
Here's the schedule for tonight. So Korea and the Dominican Republic at 5:30, and then the U.S. and Canada at 7. There are 2 games tomorrow. The semifinals will be, Saturday or Sunday? No, it'll be Sunday. And then the championship game will be on Tuesday. So World Baseball Classic going to wrap up here soon. I lied. Tennessee has a big weekend series against Georgia. That's a top 20 matchup. And then the Vandy boys will be hosting the defending national champions in the LSU Tigers. So some SEC baseball to round out the update here.
It feels early, but at least the weather has warmed where weather shouldn't be a big factor in these things.
Did you see Billy Derrick had some comments about my jersey?
Yes, I did see that.
Take that jersey off, Parker. I wear it proudly.
Okay, are we done with all of that? Okay, we'll go to the break. Former University of Tennessee basketball star Mark Griffin will join us from Knoxville, where it may be really noisy, but we'll kind of monitor it, see how it goes. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, they've played about 6.5 minutes at Bridgestone, and Tennessee leads Vanderbilt 8-6 in a game where the one thing that, and this has been sort of a common denominator in these three meetings, and that is that Vandy is having trouble keeping Tennessee off the offensive glass. Anyway, with all of that in mind, we go to Knoxville.
We're waiting on him. He hasn't joined yet. I do have a quick stat though while we're waiting. They showed this before the game that in the last two matchups, it's tied. So this is the rubber match between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. But both teams are dead even at 151 points scored. So this is the truest of rubber matches. Tennessee up 8-6, about 12:50 in the first half remaining.
And, under the category of, what's at stake here, Honestly, it's probably a state pride thing more than anything else. I don't believe that either one of these teams rises above the 5 seed line unless one of them wins the SEC tournament. And based on what I see out of Florida, I don't like either one of them's chances. So a 5 seed is likely. What's going to happen? The winner of this game gets Florida tomorrow at noon. The loser goes home. And
on the other side of the bracket, Ole Miss has just surprised. Beat Georgia yesterday. They will play it's Alabama tonight, and then Oklahoma and Alabama, if I said that. No. Who does Oklahoma play tonight?
Oklahoma plays Arkansas.
Arkansas. That's who I was thinking of. So Oklahoma and Ole Miss, a bit of a surprise in this tournament. George, I don't know about you, but I've been very impressed by Malik Dia.
Oh my goodness! You know, honestly, in the first 2 days, he might be the most valuable player on any team. To elevate Ole Miss where they're still here, he has had a heck of a tournament.
And it's so crazy because I remember going to a Belmont game a couple years ago when Malik Dia and Jacoby Gillespie were on that Belmont team, and seeing both of them courtside to where they are now, just unbelievable.
So are we because Mark Griffin is giving me a signal saying he's ready. Call me. They've got the number back at the station.
Nope. I can get that, though. Get that taken care of. Mark Griffin going to join us here shortly from Knoxville. George, can you send me the number?
Yeah.
This is a great radio.
Yes, it is.
A little inside baseball on how this stuff works. So Tennessee and Vanderbilt just went to the under-12 media timeout. Still 8-6. Pretty good defense here early from both sides. Tyler Nickel did miss a 3, so his struggles continue a little bit. So Vanderbilt hopes to get him going. Really bad foul on Felix Okpara down in the paint right before they went to the timeout break. Pushed a guy in the back. I didn't get a read of who it was. So, yeah, they just went to the 12 timeout.
Okpara, I thought, was really effective a week ago in Knoxville. Blocked a series of shots, made it very difficult for Vandy on the inside. And that's sort of under the category of where are these two teams. And it's easy to say, okay, if you're going to use a difference here, maybe it's Nate Ament on Tennessee's side. Maybe it's Tyler Tanner on Vandy's side. But the real difference to me is Tennessee's better inside than Vandy, and that's the problem.
Yeah, no, that's how Tennessee beat South Carolina, is that depth in the front court. They just pounded in the paint. Okpara, Estrella, even Jalen Carey, really good at using his body to carve out space. We're getting Griff on the line here in just a matter of moments, and he'll help us break all this down. But, yeah, Tennessee in the front court, they have a ton of depth, which when Gillespie and Ament are both struggling, at least you have that. But really not a lot of scoring has come from the balls outside of those two players.
I thought Estrella a week ago showed me some things I didn't know he had. Better post moves than I've seen out of him in the past. And so Tennessee's got a good front line. Vandy is probably better in the backcourt, in particular since they've gotten Duke Miles back. We'll see what happens, but it's kind of fun that they're getting to play a third time. It may not matter to a lot of the people at Bridgestone, although from the look, most of them have stuck around. But under the statewide pride thing, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and in a day and age where conference tournaments are mattering a little bit less and less, this is certainly a lot of state pride attached to this one. We have Mark on the line.
Okay, let's go to him. Mark Griffin joining us from Knoxville. Mark, what do you see so far? Anything that to you tells you who's going to win?
Not at all. But, man, one thing is consistent when you have these two teams play each other, George, is how much of a battle it is every possession. And you could say it's tightly being ref now, or is it more physical play and it deserves the calls are deservingly? I don't know. I'm a little mixed. I mean, like Estrella, I'm watching the game like you guys probably are. And when Estrella was throwing his elbows, I'm like, well, that's obviously a call. You can't do that. So a lot of physical play. I think you're going to see this a big portion of the game until guys really get into foul trouble.
Mark, the good news on Tennessee's end, Ament appears to be, whether he's 100% or not, you know, when you score 27, if you're not 100%, you know, gosh, what would you be?
True. And what's interesting, I know someone, you know, I'm all over Twitter reading, and someone said, you know, he was going to get tired at the end of the game. Well, actually, his numbers were better the second half than the first half, as you know, and I'm sure you've talked about. I mean, he took over the game and got stronger as the game went, which was very surprising for me, because I thought that as the game progressed, he would need a break, and he played 32 minutes. I mean, I never thought that Coach Barnes would have played him that many minutes, and he was able to get better, it seemed like, as the game progressed.
Mark, talk to me about whichever team wins this game. They got to play Florida tomorrow. It's almost like a punishment for winning. How would both of these teams go about trying to beat Florida?
Well, the thing about Florida, I mean, you can talk about their height and inside presence and how great they rebound, which is evident today against Kentucky. They almost had three bigs with double figures rebounding. I think that's going to be consistent. I think the way to beat Florida is you really got to pressure Boogie Fran and the league kid who I've been pretty hard on, critical of him throughout the season, but man, he was a big difference maker today. He had a huge three at the end and a great steal to help seal that victory for Florida. But I think what it boils down to tomorrow for whichever team wins is you're going to have to really contain their guards. They're not deep on the guard end. And if you can put a lot of pressure on them, obviously they can't make easy passes into the inside players, and it just disrupts them even more, not allowing them to fast break during those great rebound opportunities that Florida's so good at. I mean, they're number one in the nation in rebounding for a reason.
Mark, the thing that so impresses me about the big guys, you know, you can get a series of 6'11" guys that are just big lugs who really don't have a lot of skill. All three of these guys have skill. A couple of them can handle the ball out on the perimeter. I saw one of them take a three today. That, to me, is the secret is, yeah, they're big, but they're not a bunch of lugs.
No, they're very athletic, George, and we've talked about this before, but one thing that Todd Golden doesn't get enough credit is development of his personnel the time he's been there. I mean, you look at how he's a junior. I mean, this kid's come out of nowhere in 3 years. And then Shinaloo, most improved player in the SEC this season outside of, to me, Ty Tanner. I mean, they're, to me, neck and neck. You could say Tanner's the most improved guard, Shinaloo, most improved big man. And that's under Golden's watch, and they're getting results through their development. And it's just a fun team to watch. I don't mind at all watching Florida play as well as they do. I think it's for me, it's a fun brand versus, let's say, in Alabama, because Alabama, you know, they're jacking up 36 three-pointers a game, and I just don't like that NBA style. But with Florida, I mean, they grind, get the ball inside, they'll take perimeter shots, but, you know, they've got four guys going to the basket.
Mark, in this tournament, Ole Miss has made two statement wins. And even though Malik Dia went to Oxford with a lot of baggage, two coaches that got very tired of him. Man, what a talent he is.
He is a great talent, George, and I've seen him develop over the years. As you know, he played for EAB out of the Nashville area as a young kid, and I still reflect. And one thing I was impressed with Malik was that he was a year below Keon Johnson, and every time when Keon, who went on to Tennessee and an NBA for a few years, he would challenge him every practice one-on-one. And I thought, man, I don't know what's going to happen to this kid. I don't know enough about his love of the game and how coachable he is. But I knew he was a competitor. Some of the things that, obviously that come to everybody's mind when you watch him, especially on Miss fans, is he likes to take a break every now and then, more often than not. But when he's determined and he gets focused, man, he can be a difference maker, and he's been one. And I think it's a great story for him to come back in his backyard and have the success he has had.
Mark, there's no doubt there's a professional future for him. Is it at the NBA level?
Well, he'll get a shot. He will definitely get a shot. The question and concern and I'm no NBA scout, but the eye test is consistency, the love of the game, and will you grind? He's 6'9", great body, can shoot outside. But is he going to work every day on his game? And does he really want to be a difference maker in the league? Will he have a shot? Sure, he'll have a shot. But some of these things are going to come out down the road to see if a team's going to take a chance on him to help them. And I think he's going to get ample opportunities. I really do. And he's really helping his case right now, especially because he's getting a lot of people's attention.
Mark, I never thought I would say this, but it feels like Oklahoma is a win tonight against Arkansas from getting in the NCAA tournament. And when I watch them, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't get it. What do you see in Oklahoma?
Wow. Well, I was at the game when Tennessee beat Oklahoma several weeks ago, and Tennessee dominated Oklahoma, but then their guards got hot, made it a little run there for a little bit. But as you know, George, teams make runs. Their last 10 games, they're 8-2. And we thought Porter Moses was dead man walking. Can this save his job? Getting to the NCAA tournament sure doesn't hurt. I tell you what, I'd like to see Oklahoma in the tournament before I would Auburn, and I'm sure you would too. And the way they played, and I know that it's not something the committee's looking at his last 10 like it was years ago, but Auburn's 3-7 the last 10. And Oklahoma is like the darling of the tournament right now. I mean, they're dominating, and I just think it's really good for basketball. I love seeing Oklahoma do well. I'll be cheering for them this evening. I'd love to see them make the tournament and just see what happens.
So how do they beat Arkansas? Because to me, there's a talent difference that's pretty large. And to me, Arkansas would have to help Oklahoma for that upset to happen.
Oh, no doubt. If Arkansas plays its A game, I'm sure. Is A-Cup playing, George? I haven't checked today, but is he playing this evening, if you're aware of?
I don't think he is.
It's not.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not. Well, regardless, they've got a lot of talent. I mean, Malik Thomas has just turned it up. Brazil's turned it up since then as well. I mean, you've got Billy Richmond Jr. You've got a lot of talent with Arkansas. I think the way that Oklahoma has a shot is one of those three players is going to, or even two, have to get in foul trouble, and Arkansas just doesn't bring their A game. I think Arkansas is going to have an off night, and Oklahoma is going to have to be consistent like they have. But if Arkansas plays their regular style and up and down the court and has any luck, field goal percent shooting, I don't think Oklahoma stays in this game.
Okay, well, hold on. It has just been confirmed that he is cleared tonight. So
He is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he is going to play.
Mark, last thing for you before we go to the break. What odds do you give Ole Miss tonight against Bama?
Not a lot. Not a lot at all. I think that their time in Nashville will end this evening. I as a fan, I will be cheering for Ole Miss. I love the story of underdogs. I think you'll see anyone at Bridgestone tonight that's not wearing crimson will be cheering for Ole Miss. All these different people that are representing their respective school will cheer for Ole Miss this evening. A lot of fans will too. Tough year for Chris Beard. We all knew he was a really good coach. The bad thing for Chris Beard, and I know I'm going backwards here, but they just came off a Sweet 16, George, but they got nobody back from last year except Malik Dia. So it's not like they can lean on that. But, why didn't Chris Beard have more success in the portal this year after having such great success? I don't know. Matter of fact, some of the guys that I've seen on the floor for Ole Miss this season, we're talking about Casey Alexander earlier. I don't know if they can play at Belmont. So, and now he's going to Kansas State. But where I'm going with that is why not an increase or an improvement in talent level? But I just think tonight, I really do feel that Alabama will run away with the game, and I hope I'm wrong.
With that, we will head to our break, much like Tennessee and Vanderbilt, as they are now at the under-8 media timeout. When we come back, I want to ask Griff about the bubble, because it is a very interesting conversation right now. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us, because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Well, what is going in at Bridgestone is exactly the same kind of stuff that has gone on the first two games. Tough and tight. And what happened to our camera?
I know it looks. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Anyway, 21-20, Tennessee leading with 5:20 to play. We got camera issues.
I'll
Let's
fix
figure
it.
it out.
I can fix it while
Okay.
I'm talking to Griff here. Griff, I did want to ask about the bubble though, because obviously there's going to be a lot of debate here with Miami, Ohio, and Auburn. Well, let's start with Auburn. I understand the strength of schedule; it's like fourth in the country, and I understand they have a couple really good wins. But at the same time, they're one game above 500, and they've lost 16. And I don't ever think I've seen a 16-loss team get an automatic bid. So why is Auburn still in the conversation?
That's a great question. I don't know. It's the Pearl effect. What's interesting, guy? Karma's a bitch. When Bruce got on there and was raving about the best teams and how Auburn, should be in over Miami, then Miami loses, took away a bid, and it could be Auburn's. So wouldn't that be interesting if Miami was the bid stiller for Auburn and they didn't make it? I mean, to me, that's karma. But another thing about the Auburn deal, though, and I'm sure y'all talked about it too, these so-called bubble teams last weekend, I think there was, like 8 teams, and every one of them lost. If even one of them would have won, they would have moved up. So it's kind of like by default now that there's just no one else there to take Auburn's spot unless Oklahoma wins tonight. I think that could be another spot that's an argument for them making it over Auburn. And Oklahoma beat Auburn this season by double digits. So I hope that's the case. I just want to see Oklahoma win, and let's see what happens. Now, if Auburn makes it, will most of America be upset? Yes. Will they go far? I don't know. I will give Auburn credit for most of the game yesterday. They played really hard, and then they just fell apart, as you know. And it's unfortunate. And Tennessee really didn't help them. I mean, Akpara at half court runs over and, heads up Murphy kid. I mean, he threw his arm at him. I mean, some dumb things. You don't do things like that. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if Auburn didn't make it. I'm not the SEC commissioner, so I'm not concerned about how many teams from the SEC make it or not.
With Miami, Ohio, Lenardi had them projected as a last 4 bye, so they would get the at-large spot there. Do you see the only scenario in which they're having to play in Dayton is if we get a couple of bid stealers, like let's say, I don't know, maybe like a team from a smaller conference who's not projected to win ends up winning, and then that league becomes a 2-bid league. Is that the only way that Miami would end up having to play in Dayton? Because to be honest, I do think they're safe.
I think you're right. And that'll play out. I mean, that's why a lot of people are tuned in this weekend, see who's going to be any bid stealers. And I think most sports fan, the biggest talk right now, other than who can win it, normally people are looking at your number 1 seeds, Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and Florida. Other than that, Miami of Ohio is getting a lot of airplay right now, a lot of airtime, and I think it's great for the sport, regardless of how Miami of Ohio fares in the tournament. I'll definitely be pulling for them as well. It's a great conversation. It's great. It's really enticing, and we'll know Sunday night, guys.
So, and Griff, to be honest, I don't think I've heard somebody be against everything that I'm seeing on social media is in favor of Miami. So I don't think that there's like a person out there that's really staunch against Miami not making it into the field. I'm going to put you on the spot here. You have to hit a group of teams that you see being able to be this year's Cinderella. like, for example, I think High Point has a great chance to make it to the second weekend as that Cinderella. Who do you think could be in that group this year?
Wow, great question. Man, High Point's a good call, and you know, it's interesting, Parker. I haven't researched enough to know who would I select to advance. The interesting thing about your question is there will be one team at least. We always have either that 5 versus 12 upset or 13 upset. It'll be fun, but I don't have a designated team right now that I would say will advance. Of course, one that I'm really going to be pulling for, and I hope they're not playing Duke, is TSU. I'd love to see Tennessee State make a run and win the first game in the tournament because they're out of Nashville and the great strides that they've made in one season. That would be fun to watch.
Any chance that Tennessee State is anything higher than a 15? I think they're probably going to be on that 15 line. There is a strong chance that they're also a 16. Is there a possibility that they could be a 14?
No, I don't think so. Well, it'll be interesting too. You know, you're in that room, you know, when they're selecting teams, and what chance would Duke play TSU first round? I mean, you can't tell me, George and Parker, that conversation doesn't go on because of Nolan Smith and, you know, playing at Duke, coaching at Duke, and then going up against Duke. I mean, you know, there's going to be talk about it. Like, not that Duke needs help to sell out an arena, but it's just total TV and a big media blitz.
So, Griff, I was watching the Big 12 last night. I was watching Kansas and TCU, and that floor was just so ugly to me. Who thought it was going to be a good idea to have a group of basketball players play on a glass LED floor?
Well, I mean, I tell you what, who thought it was a good idea? Whoever they were writing a check to, that's who thought it was a good idea.
Mark, it sounds like.
But you know what's funny, and George can probably help me, and Parker, you're too young to remember this, but you know, back in the day, Tennessee, we had, I think it was called tartan floor, which was the worst. Your knees did not feel at all. And of course, I was thinking about that last night. Of course, they said they were slipping last night. You couldn't even move on a tartan floor, which you do need, you know, to have some flexibility to move. But whoever suggested that or approved it was the one receiving a check.
Mark, I can remember when I was a student at Vandy that they had a tartan floor inside McGugin Center.
Sure.
You may have played there at some point.
Several times.
To me, the tartan floor needs to go with the LED lighting and the glass floor to the dumpster.
No doubt, and then the old school tile floors, which that precedes us probably, George, too.
Wow, and the center jump after every bucket.
Yeah.
I will say at the college that I went to, they had one of those old school courts that had what are they called? The old baskets, George.
Beach basket.
Yes, yeah, and I thought it was just the coolest thing. Sometimes my teammates and I would go play pickup in there, and it was really cool. Griff, with the SEC, I was very surprised. Now, I have been impressed by Malik Dia. I've been impressed by Ole Miss, and honestly, I think the reason Ole Miss is at this point is because of Malik Dia's play. And you watch him in January, and it didn't seem like he was as confident as he is now. But I was very surprised that they were able to beat Georgia last night because I've really enjoyed watching Georgia this year. So do they have the capability of being a second weekend team? Because right now I think they're projected to be on the same side as UConn in the bracket.
Well, it's interesting, and we'll talk about this a ton when it comes to matchups. Georgia can be a tough matchup, but I mean, they really have to click on all cylinders, though. But they've got a pretty good bench. I mean, I want to say it's Wilkerson that comes off the bench, 15-point score. is it Catchings? I don't have their roster in front of me, so bear with me. But, I mean, lots of confidence. He plays with lots of confidence. Of course, Blue Cane's steady player. Somto in the middle is one of the best shot blockers in the country. But they've really got to click on all cylinders. And I do think they could have a good shot, but their opponent, they're going to have to outwork. And if their opponent is having a good day from the field, it could be a short trip for Georgia, though. But if they can step up their defense and play more together, I think Georgia could make it to the second weekend. I really do. Put this way: if we talk about surprise teams in the SEC, and you say who's your biggest surprise team, obviously it would be Vanderbilt. Georgia would be probably my second pick.
This is outside of the SEC, but what about Miami?
I don't know enough about Miami. I did watch them yesterday, and man, what a great season Jai Lucas has had as a first-year coach.
Phenomenal.
Got the experience, at the schools that he came from. Great hire by the athletic director, and to do what they did the first year was very impressive for Miami.
True or false, there are 5 national championship contenders this year.
I'll say 6 because I'm going to include Houston. If you're going Duke, Michigan, Arizona, Florida, and UConn, I'm going to add Michigan to the mix. And I may be wrong. I mean, you could add, I think, more than 5. I mean, look at how good Iowa State's been playing. I mean, I knew they had a couple, really 2 good difference makers, but man, they play defense.
So, Parker, you've been doing all this. Who are the surprises, positive? Who are the Mark? I have figured out who's going down early, who is all hat and no cattle.
Okay.
You're going to say Illinois again or Gonzaga? I'm waiting on one of those two.
Illinois.
It's Illinois.
Illinois is a European team that's soft. They don't play a lick.
You heard Mark mention Gonzaga, George.
Well, we'll get to Gonzaga later. But, Mark, the more I watch Illinois, the less impressed I am. They're soft.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I looked them up after you made the comment about their players from overseas. I believe they have 3 American-born players, and your rosters now can either have 14 or 15 players. I'm not exactly sure, but they have 3. Rest of them are imports. I'm like, what's their recruiting budget? I mean, I know some of these kids end up going to American, like prep schools and so forth, but some of them don't. And I think you bring a valid point. And another thing that was talked about on your show, George, with Basilio, and I've really thought about this a lot this week about the importance of, being a 5 seed or a 4 seed. I don't think Tennessee has a shot, and even Vanderbilt, to get a 4 seed based on winning. But let's say either Tennessee or one of them is going to lose, or Vanderbilt, and we drop to a 6 seed. There's several 3 seeds that are beatable for that second round game. And like Tony said, you avoid that not playing the number 1, but you're looking at Illinois, Nebraska, Gonzaga, and Alabama. I mean, I really do. The thing I'm going to follow is how many of these 3 seeds are there the second week. I think some of them are going to be gone after that Sweet 16 and not make it to the Elite 8. I'd be surprised if any of these teams made it to the Elite 8.
Mark, I know we're about to end this. I've watched both Tennessee and Vanderbilt take the use it or lose it timeout. Let's get this out of the game. There is no need for this.
Why even have it? It's so stupid. It's so DUM.
To me, that's all about coaching. Your coach should instill in you, with 30 seconds left and the shot clock at 30, you already ought to know what it is you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Let the players play. And plus, too, George, for people that really do count the clock or the time and go, God, the game's so long. Now we got all these reviews and this and that. do we really need another timeout to delay the game? I mean, no, we don't. I mean, we go to the bathroom 20 seconds later, or 2 minutes later, that is, than now. You're right. They need to take it out. It makes no sense.
Hey, you did great. I know you're under a little duress with a big crowd up in Knoxville. Thank you, as always, for coming on with us.
Oh, thank you. And what a great game here. Man, I know my time's about to end. Concern for me is a Tennessee fan. This close, and you get to the end, how are they going to shoot free throws? Vanderbilt's 12th in the nation in free throw shooting. UT, 282. Major concern at the end. I think this game may come down to free throws.
You may well be right. Mark, thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Hour number 1 is in the books. Danny Evans will join us to talk World Baseball Classic next on the George Plaster Show.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale.
What product?
Well, spas for one. All the new model spas are here and on sale from Artesian, Catalina, and American Select, and now Sundance Luxury Spas, as low as $29.99.
Okay.
Family Leisure has all their new patio furniture styles. Three Palms, Berlin Gardens, and Woodard are on sale. The guaranteed largest selection and lowest prices in the Mid-South.
Now that's interesting.
Family Leisure's Factory Direct Sale going on now.
At both huge locations, Antioch and Franklin.
Well, family and fun come together.
Hey guys, Big Joe, headed to a Gamber concert at Bridgestone Arena? How about starting and ending your night at Bar Lines inside the Omni Nashville Hotel, just steps away? Savor award-winning Southern-inspired dishes, handcrafted Tennessee drinks, and the unbeatable energy of fellow fans. With 22 jumbo flat-screen HD TVs, you're never going to miss a moment of the action. Also, park at the Omni for ultimate convenience and experience a true taste of Nashville. Bar Lines, where every seat feels like the front row.
With no credit check and payments as low as $20 a week, why wait to upgrade your home? At Electronic Express, get everything you need, from premium appliances and TVs to gaming systems and more. Whether it's building your dream home theater or updating your kitchen, we make it affordable and easy. With over 40 years in business, trust us for the best selection, service, and guaranteed low prices. Shop online or at any of our 22 locations across Tennessee and Alabama. Electronic Express, for every moment of your day.
Winterfest is coming to Duck River Raceway Park Saturday, March 14th. The ultimate super late model series storms the track, racing for $6,000 to win. Plus, a full night of action with 602 late models, factory stocks, open wheel, pure pony, front wheel drive, dwarf, bomber, and economy 602. Plus the fan favorite Enduro with $1,000 to win. Pits open at 10 a.m., grandstands at noon, drivers meeting at 1. Winterfest 2026. Big money, big fields, and non-stop racing at Duck River Raceway Park. Don't miss it.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobitz. Our forecast this afternoon, high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s and plenty of sunshine. Overnight tonight will stay relatively clear and drop back into the 40s before a big climb back into the 70s and partly cloudy on your Saturday.
Hello, Franklin. Your coffee run just got easier. The newest Dunkin' Next Generation location is now open on Murfreesboro Road at the Highway 96 and I-65 intersection. Swing by for the coffee that keeps Nashville moving. From hot or iced Dunkin' coffee to refreshers, breakfast sandwiches, and donuts baked fresh daily. Heading to work, road trip starting, or just need that afternoon pick-me-up. Drive-through, grab and go, and your favorite Dunkin' flavors are ready. The new Dunkin' in Franklin on Murfreesboro Road at the Highway 96 and I-65 intersection. America runs on Dunkin'.
In case you missed Chase and Big Joe.
White's great, but I love their current helmet, but with the Bengals just on the side. It looked like they went to an elementary school in Cincinnati and said, "Design us a Bengals logo." And they drew a bingo. I love it. I love it. I remember when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl in '81 versus the Niners. That's when they had the stripes, and then they had a black face mask. Yeah. Because Ken Anderson looked pretty cool in that game. Too bad Joe Montana let him down the field and beat him. Do they still have is it the Bengal cat at the 50 or is it the bee? It's the bee. I like the Bengal cat, the jungle cat. They need to go back to that. Yeah, they do. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Treasure McCabe, getting it done. Professionals here on 102.5 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, weekdays at noon. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Who won the first World Baseball Classic in 2006?
Oh, gosh. You know what? We need to turn that over to the true expert. And let's try to be nice on the front end and say hello to Danny Evans and say how wonderful it is to have him back talking some baseball. Danny, bail me out. I don't remember.
Georgie, I was there.
Were you really?
I was at every final until the one that's coming up next Tuesday. I have never missed it. I've scouted it. I attended it. I was on a committee for it. It is, for me, the best thing about baseball. I absolutely love it. And if I remember correctly, and that's a while ago, but I believe Ichiro and his teammates lifted the championship trophy.
So Japan, show us Japan.
How
Japan
about
it
that?
is. Yeah.
Can we stump Danny Evans?
Oh no,
Is that possible?
Not when it comes to baseball. You can't.
You can just dump them on a lot of other stuff, though. Don't worry about that.
So officially, we welcome all of you into the 4 o'clock hour. We are at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall, where a lot of folks are in here watching the Tennessee Vanderbilt game. Danny, I got some stats for you. Listen to this.
Let's go.
Tennessee and Vandy are tied at 31 apiece. This is the third time they have played in the last 19 days. In the 2.5 games that have been played so far, these two teams have scored the exact same number of points. Tennessee won in Nashville against Vandy. Vandy returned the favor last Saturday in Knoxville, and now they're doing this, tied at 31 at halftime. I want to see them play a fourth time, like, I don't know, Elite Eight.
I love it. George, for me, this is the best 10 days of the sports season. I mean, Sunday for me kicks off the second stage of hoops. And then next Thursday and Friday should be national holidays. I mean, tonight you've got Arizona, Iowa State at 6 Central. For me, living in Iowa, that is like, as big a deal as there can be. And George, candidly, the WBC for the next 5 days is like the best part of the preseason. So I have a very, very motivated self, and I'll be streaming like crazy for the next few weeks.
Danny, do you think this go-round has gotten more attention and more anticipation than any of the others?
I do, George, and I think it's because of the awareness that fans have about the players from all these international participants. I mean, look, right here, you've got, Soto is one of the best players in the world, and the Dominican playing Korea tonight is going to be a heck of a good game. And the fact that it's from Miami, so you'll have that really loud participation. And then Canada against USA, and this is Canada's first trip to the quarterfinals. I think that's going to be a really good game. And I think the Major League Baseball has done a great job promoting this, but in the last 20 years, other teams and other countries, their nations have really elevated their play. And now all of a sudden you have teams like Great Britain, you have Slovakia, you have some really great national teams garnering some attention. And look, the Americans were one game away from being eliminated because of snafus by their front office, I guess you would call it, and their staff. Imagine if Mexico would have advanced instead of Italy. It would have been really embarrassing for the Major League Baseball group.
So let's talk about that for a second. I know Mark DeRosa a little bit, and I know he's well respected in the game, and he's caught a lot of heat for this. Is there more to this than we know?
George, I don't think it's Mark DeRosa's situation to shoulder completely. There are people who are in charge of Team USA. Michael Hill, the former Marlins general manager, he has a lot of support staff around him. He has the Major League Baseball contingent to ask. The fact that nobody informed them of where they stood is a real gross oversight by everybody involved with the Team USA situation. I feel it's embarrassing, and I feel it's incompetency. This isn't game management. It's prior to the game. You know, this is like game 5 when you're down 3-1, George, where you empty out, you make sure you win that ball game so you're not done. And they didn't have any sense of urgency at all. I can't blame Mark, because anybody who works with Mark, somebody should have known it. You know, there are a lot of moms and dads out there with their sons and daughters and loved ones that play soccer, softball, baseball, that have U12 tournaments, that they know those rules on Saturday and Sunday. There's no explanation that works for me in this case that alleviates the rest of the group. And I think to throw DeRosa under the bus, I think is a bit of ignorance in the baseball community, because Michael Hill runs it, and Michael Hill should have made sure he or somebody on his staff informed them of what was going on.
So, Danny, let me try this one on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big baseball fan. This just in.
What?
And yet, yeah.
Is that?
And yet,
whoa! I didn't know that.
Tonight, my attention is going to be at Bridgestone Arena with the SEC semifinal doubleheader, the nighttime one. So a guy that you and I both really respect, Jason Stark, terrific writer, did a piece, and I have a feeling you saw it a couple of days ago, about, hey, while this is great, baseball could really maximize this by making the qualifying round in March and then the rest of it in and around the All-Star Game break week. What did you think of that?
Loved it. But I love Jason Stark. Jason's a really dear friend of mine, has been for about 35 years. And Jason and I usually are pushing the same pontoon boat out into the water. And I loved his concept. I think it'd be glorious for the game. The problem, George, it would upset some of the traditionalists throughout the world, for the KBO, for Japan, for Major League Baseball. The All-Star games in all 3 of those cases are huge ceremonious events. And I think what we have here is an incredible platform to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or perhaps Sunday too. You know, if we push 3 days away and move it into a different part of the schedule, what you're really going to have too is you're going to have players in the middle of their season who are at the peak of their year. I think it would be incredible. I loved it. I do not like what some people were pitching, which was do all of this at the All-Star game. It can't be done. It's 10 to 12 days. It's just logistically a nightmare. But I think, imagine if a site had not only the All-Star game, but the Futures game, the Home Run Derby, and prolong the week to a week-long baseball celebration. That city's Chamber of Commerce would go nuts. The economic impact would be great. Paraphernalia. But George, also, I think the coolest thing about it is it would bring the game to the summertime pinnacle where we own, we being baseball, own the sports focus and lens at that point. And I think like right now, you've got tournaments, you've got hockey, you've got the NBA, you've got, huge conference tournaments going on for play-in spots. We would have more of the attention as a sport. So I give Jason credit. I already sent it to him. I thought it was awesome idea. And George, when you think that way, you can find things that make the game more popular. When you do the status quo, you never come up with an idea like that. I loved it.
So I loved it as well. And to me, it's the home run of home runs to create in the middle of July baseball front and center stage. Is that a deal that has to be collectively bargained?
Not only collectively bargained with the Major League Baseball Players Association and the ownership group, but also federations have to participate in it. The clock is different. The calendar is different. And also it's going to have to be negotiated with the KBO, with the NPB, because they have massive all-star games. And George, I've been to both. I've been to many of both, and they would need to clear it too, because they have their own baseball calendar to work on. But very candidly, George, I think it would be elite participation. I think what you would have is you would have clubs not wanting to prevent their players because it's on the grandest of stages. I think it would be great for the baseball from a marketing standpoint, but also from a competitive angle. I think it would be extraordinary.
Do you think it ends up happening?
I do.
I do too.
I do. Yeah, and I think it took guts to propose that, but he's a Hall of Famer. He's got an amplification that a lot of other people don't have. But George, the other thing is this: 20 years ago when this tournament started, a lot of people didn't like it. They just shot holes in it left and right, but it keeps growing in proportion because the rest of the world loves it. I mean, George, as I told you, I've been at games ever since it started in 2006. To me, if you experience it overseas, it's a carnival. It is absolutely exciting. And when Japan won it in 2006, I was the preliminary round in Japan, and it was extraordinary. And as a result, I never missed preliminary rounds. I bounced around to Dominican, I bounced around to Puerto Rico, Korea, Japan, and the experience is exhilarating in a usual, I would say, kind of boredom period of spring training when people are just waiting for the first pitch of opening day.
So I'm kind of like you. I think it can happen, and I think it's got a real shot to happen. It's a brilliant idea. So the United States avoids kind of the embarrassment. Now, in your opinion, do they go win the whole thing?
No, I don't even think they're getting to the final. I think the Dominicans will beat them in the semifinal game. I think Japan will prevail over the Dominican in the championship game. I just don't see the USA team being as good as a couple other teams in this in these final 8 teams.
Danny, first of all, very great to have you back. I know I enjoy getting to have our conversations every week. Like George, my focus is kind of been on the SEC tournament as we prepare for March Madness, but I'm absolutely fascinated by this World Baseball Classic, and I was the last time that it was here as well. You know, when they had the 4 nations in the NHL, I felt like it helped, people who were casual hockey fans. It gave the NHL a bump in viewership for like 2 weeks, kind of a honeymoon phase, and then it went right back down. What kind of viewership impact does the World Baseball Classic have on the MLB when they officially get rolling?
Well, it'll be ginormous. And like you, I love the 4 nations. I thought that was spectacular. I questioned it prior to, but then watched every single game of the tournament. As George knows, I'm addicted to hockey and It was incredible. And just to watch McDavid and his crew play against some of the elite teams was great. What does it do? Here's what it does. First of all, it gives baseball a platform in March that it ordinarily would share with everybody else. But what it really does is it amplifies the excitement about opening day, which is literally about 13 or 14 days away. And it gives people from different countries a heightened awareness of where we are in the baseball season. I mean, anyone who loves baseball remembers Ohtani versus Trout, which was incredible. And when it occurred, I was, oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. But I'll give you my best answer, which is a week ago Saturday morning, we had people staying over at our house. And at 3:45, my alarm went off. I woke up, turned on the ball game, and at 10 o'clock at night when we were going out to dinner, or when we were at dinner, I couldn't figure out why I felt like a blocked punt, like I was so tired. But I realized, hey, wait a second, I know why. I was watching the game at 4 this morning. I mean, listen, I think it's great. And people who are real connoisseurs of the game think it's great too. And I think the excitement will be something that baseball has to capture and that baseball has to bring in to the regular season. It's not going to be easy, but what we have suddenly are a Czech pitcher getting a standing ovation in the Tokyo Dome. It's a great story. He's an engineer, and he's a great one. But I think throughout the world, all of a sudden you have Team Italy, Team Great Britain. You have some really good programs that are getting into the elite round. All that does is help baseball worldwide.
So I watched a lot of Andrew Fisher because I'm a Tennessee baseball fan. I watched a lot of Andrew Fisher when he was his 1 year at Tennessee, and he led the SEC in home runs, led in RBIs, all these different things. And I saw that he was playing for Team Italy. How quickly do you think he's going to get the call up to, the major leagues? It seems like players are moving a lot faster through the minor leagues up to the majors.
We're moving college players out of the draft quicker than ever before. It's a very short runway, which has led to some guys' struggles. You think about Caglione, who really struggled last year. But the great players turn out to be great players. I think it's great for the game because I'll tell you what I really like about it. The college game has an all-time high of popularity, and now people see a shorter shelf life where the players are in the minors. So as a result, they don't forget about them. It's much like the NBA. You see guys go into the draft, and you can only envision how they're going to play. Think about, Zion Williamson. Think about, the kid last year from Duke. When these guys impact on your TV, and then less than a year later, they're back on your TV, back streaming, your awareness level remains.
So I really started following college baseball, when Vitello was at Tennessee still. And I've really been frustrated because Tennessee played, the number one team in the country, UCLA, and it was on Flow Sports. And I don't know how to access Flow Sports. And it seems like college baseball is having a problem with streaming and trying to figure out how to get that on, main ESPN channels and things like that. If they were to figure that out, do you think that would help with the promotion of, these guys that eventually end up playing in the big leagues? Do you think that would help promote the MLB?
I think college baseball is always going to be a bit of a niche sport. It doesn't attract attention throughout the North American continent like football and basketball do. I think it's much like hockey at the collegiate level, where the collegiate level of hockey is elite. The Bean Pot is amazing. The finals are incredible, but it's hard to get their games. And I think in any sport, our world is so congested when it comes to sports, information, entertainment. It's on so many different streaming partners. I mean, it's like me when I want to watch The Pit, I got to remember which segment is it on. It's on HBO Max. Okay. But things like that for the regular consumer, that gets troublesome, and some people just give up. Or if they're at a fixed income, they're not very technically oriented, they don't understand streaming, they don't want a subscription, they lose people as a result. I think unless you're on ESPN or unless you're on one of the networks, it gets really hard to be I would say, a captivated audience. People have to seek out your programming, and not everybody's DNA is set for that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think the first time an MLB game will be broadcasted on Netflix will be opening night with Yankees Giants. Is that right?
It sure is. And I mean, I love it because I'm on Netflix a lot for various shows and movies. But I've heard from some friends of mine, I'm not on Netflix. I don't care about Netflix. And I just said, well, listen, I mean, a lot of people weren't on Amazon Prime a few years ago. Now, because of the NBA, because of Friday Night Baseball, because of the baseball move to the streaming partners, you're going to have to be. Is it fair? Well, not necessarily, but they're doing what's right for the sport to try to grow the sport economically. I can't fault them for that. But when opening day is not on regular television, there will be a component of fans who won't like it.
What specifically? Because I'm going to watch every pitch of the Giants Yankees. And I know the goal is to win. I know Vitello, that is his number one goal. But outside of the obvious winning and losing aspect of this, what specifically are you looking for Vitello's Giants?
Well, first of all, as I said on George's show last year, I think it's a very tough task to move directly from the college game into a big league dugout as the leader of the team. The general manager of the club, I know what that feels like. And you're leading the organization. But once the first pitch of the game begins, you're not in command. And I think he is going to have a hell of a challenge to not only transmit an air of confidence without arrogance, but also an awareness of the sandbox that he's now playing in. He was an elite coach with detractors in the college game. And I believe the detractors had some real good fodder to be a detractor. Now he goes into the big league game where these guys are already guys. They're dudes. And they're not dependent on their manager to become a dude. As a result, the egos get involved, but also these players know where they belong and know how the game's played. If he has issues, some of it might be on game management, but I think the bulk of it is going to be challenges in the clubhouse, in the dugout, in the media. At Tennessee, he could say no to an interview. He says no to Jason Stark or Jeff Passan or shuns ESPN or one of the networks in a broadcast. It doesn't play the same. So he's really got to walk the tightrope really adeptly. And I think it's hard enough to learn how to manage in the big leagues. It's even harder without an internship. And I have real questions as to whether or not he's going to succeed. I'm not saying he won't, but I'm saying this is not going to be easy. And it wouldn't be easy for any collegiate head coach to walk directly into a big league dugout.
Danny, I was really excited. I thought Alex Anthopoulos had a really good offseason with a lot of the moves he's made. My excitement has really been diminished by just a steamroll of injuries.
Yep.
First, should the Braves be asking themselves, is there something we're doing, or is it just luck? And secondly, are you surprised he hadn't gone and gotten a starting pitcher when 2 or 3 were still available?
Yeah, they're not great fallback positions, George. I don't think this has to do with money. When Profar went on the restricted list, Profar's salary and the tax hit comes off. So that's probably about a $15 to maybe $18 million reduction in their numbers. George, I think they have a sleeper in the rotation. Martin Perez is on a non-roster. I think Martin Perez could be one of their 6 starters from the onset. The fact that they play their first 13 games without an off day, I think is actually going to be to their benefit because the teams they play are, I hate to say it this way, but they're not elite clubs. They can get out to a good start, get themselves situated. I think given their schedule, they're probably going to have to insert a 6-hole guy into the rotation so they don't upset the other 5. But George, the first 2 guys are pretty darn good. Your expectations for them should be high, but their offense, I think, will be okay, except I have a big question about them at the DH spot. I think it's a real concern. I think Murphy's absence will be fine because they signed a really good backup catcher who I think will be a godsend for them. He's played in the playoffs. I think he's a real good addition to their club. Obviously, Profar, a big loss, but Yastrzemski and others can make up for that. Profar was not a dude the last few years, so it's not like he's replacing the guy that he was 4 or 5 years ago. George, here's the big thing for them. I think their bullpen got better. I think the last 6 outs of their game are now a lot more comfortable than they were at the beginning of last year. I think they're 4 starters deep. They'll get a couple guys back mid-year. If they can just hold serve and be competitive, I think they're a playoff team. I think that race is going to be unbelievable between those 3 clubs, between the Mets, the Phils, and the Bravos. And I think they are clearly going to make a big turn from last year. Their nucleus is intact. And George, you know this better than anyone. When you have a down year and you have 5 months to think about it, it eats at you. And it's a great carrot at the end of the stick throughout the year when times aren't real good. I think it's a great thing for Walt Weiss to start with. He's got a motivating influence that he didn't have to instill. It's already there. So I still think they're going to be good. I think when Kim gets back, they have an above average offense. They just have to be competitive until he and a couple of the other starters come back. I think they're going to be a good club.
It was really interesting to me, and I brought it up on the air, that deep down, I'd like to hear somebody in that locker room say, I'm damn sick and tired of Jerks and Profar. Screw him. I hope he never plays as a Brave again. And so my new hero is Miles Michaelis, who came out and said, why are we using union money to defend him on a deal that you and I both know he's not going to win?
Yeah, and I'm surprised they appealed it. They usually aren't public about the suspension until the appeal has been occurred, but for some reason this one got out. George, he's a multi-time offender. I have absolutely zero tolerance. Everybody in the game knows the rule. For him to be a second-time guy, and think about it, he has literally thrown away $30 million and service time. So for me, inexcusable. For me, he's got another year in his contract next year. I mean, if I'm the Braves, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that. But here's the thing. Michaelis is on the executive board of the union. He has been a union rep. He's a really smart guy. He's played overseas. There's a lot less BS with Miles than there is with a lot of players. And like you, I was happy he said something, because in a year where they've got labor negotiations, they have money to worry about, their resources are kind of being tossed away in the Profar situation, who I have absolutely no sympathy for. I do feel for the Braves, because you don't expect a guy to be a second-time offender. And when he does that, I mean, thank God they have Yastrzemski. If they didn't have him, it was a great get. They can still replace somebody as the year goes on. I think the challenge is they kind of knew who he was going to be, and now they hope that Yastrzemski can be the same guy. Yastrzemski's going to bring a good on base. He's going to bring a good feel for the game. Whether he's a good replacement, I happen to think he is. And I also think, being a third-generation baseball guy, he's going to be absolutely fine handling the pressure of walking into that Braves clubhouse. I mean, his grandfather's my all-time favorite player, and I don't think he's going to have any problem playing for Walt Weiss.
Danny, it's great having you back. We're not far away. We're 13 days from opening day. Thank you, as always, for the visit. I'm sure you and I will talk next week.
I love it, George. I'm looking forward to coming on again during the week. And for all the fans, I know you're all over the hoops, but lend an ear late in the night to some of the really great baseball that's going to be played. You won't regret it.
You know I will. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Danny Evans, the best.
He's awesome.
Period.
He's awesome.
Okay, this game at Bridgestone feels exactly like you probably thought it would be. Tough, tight, really competitive. 39-38 Tennessee as they're about to go to the dead ball timeout at the under 16 mark. They had apparently a long delay that looked like either game clock or shot clock.
Yeah. I wasn't able to tell, but it was a very long delay.
Okay, here's what I'm going to ask for. I know you're watching the game. Heck, we're watching it. But jump on the phone with whatever issues you may have, questions, comments in the world of sports. We could use the help. 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. I got that right. We'll take your phone calls next on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. For the family, look no further than Strike and Spare. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Here on ESPN 94.9, The Fan.
They are in a dead ball timeout at Bridgestone. Just under 16 minutes to play. Tennessee with a 1-point lead over Vandy. If you look at logistics, first of all, this game isn't going to end at 5 o'clock. It would not surprise me if the Alabama-Ole Miss game starts 15, 20 minutes later than the 6 o'clock schedule, but I'm not the one to be saying that. Just a little speculation. Still got some lines open, 615-759-9949. Eric on line 1, welcome.
Hey, George, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Same to you.
Hey, George, a couple of things. You know, people have been talking about interesting things about NCAA tournament matchups and all the types of what they're going to do. I just want to ask you a question, and then I'll throw out, and you'll probably agree with me after I say this. Where do you think Kentucky is going to be seated?
You know, if I was going to guess on Kentucky, and I don't remember what Lenardi has them. Is a 7
He had
about right?
He had him at a 7, but I wouldn't be surprised with 8.
Listen, I think that what they showed me in this tournament is better stuff. Now, the fact that they lose to Florida is no disgrace. This Florida bunch, and by the way, Tennessee has just hit back-to-back threes, and for the first time today, a team has a decent lead. It's now a 7-point margin. I think Kentucky did themselves some good in this tournament. I think they're a much better team than what we saw earlier in the year when Gonzaga trashed them at Bridgestone.
George, I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking that, because a few weeks ago they were 7, but then they struggled, and I was thinking maybe 8 or 9 or something like that. We'll see what happens. But I'll say this. If they, of course, stay on the 8-9 line, my reason is this. They're going to probably play a team from a major conference, but guess what? If they win that game, they would play a number 1 seed. Who do you think they would match them up against?
Well, you want me to be a smart aleck. If Louisville were a number 1 seed, they'd figure out a way to match them up. I'm getting –
No, George, the reason why I bring it up, yeah, I think we're both thinking the same answer. I'm thinking it's going to be the Duke Blue Devils. Yeah, I think the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee would do that. You know, if that happens, I would be shocked if it's somebody else. But I believe that's what they would do. Another interesting matchup they could do, and I'm not saying they both get in, but we've been talking about Auburn's a bubble team. Wouldn't it be wild if they had Auburn in the Dayton thing and had them playing against Miami of Ohio?
Oh my God, that's good stuff. We'll see if the selection committee has a sense of humor.
But they do stuff like that, and George, I have no dog in this hunt because it really does bother me and stuff like that. But that's just a couple of things I'm saying. Kind of watch out for that. It would not shock me if they do stuff like that. George, a couple other things, and then I'll get off. First of all, I just want to get your reaction. What did you think of the uniforms last night for the Titans?
I'm okay with it. It's certainly an improvement over the junk they were wearing when they were wearing the dark blue on dark blue. I just was like, really? That's the best you can come with? I thought, this past season they wore the I guess Columbia blue jersey, which to me looks a lot better. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What one person loves, another person may hate.
I definitely think it's going to be better. And with all the moves they make, George, I do think they're going to be better. And it wouldn't shock me. I think they probably won't finish in last place. But at best, I'm just going to predict they'll probably win double the win total. But I think the AFC South is definitely going to be interesting. But we'll see what happens. And last thing, and I'll get off George. I love that you had Danny on. Of course, getting excited about baseball season. And, of course, you'll probably get into us later on as it goes. But, of course, I thought you were going to talk about, of course, with all this contracts and the whole stuff with, about Bryce Hart, some of the other players saying they love it, of course. But one of the things that I'm planning to ask on this is one of the things that worries me is being from a small market like Cincinnati is when, like, Elliot De La Cruz becomes a free agent and maybe a team like the Dodgers or the Yankees would pitch big money. And I can't blame him if he doesn't turn it down. I don't know for sure that will happen, but that's my fear is that once he hits the free agent market the way he is, I just think they're going to probably open up the checkbook to sign him. One of these big market teams, and the Reds aren't going to be able to sign him. Of course, that's not a worry right now, but I know that's something that's probably coming down the road. guys, I'll get off and let you get some other callers. Y'all take care. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.
Have a great one yourself. The Tucker signing with the Dodgers was the final straw. And I think what you've got now are two sides that are gearing up for labor Armageddon. And for a baseball fan, that's a bad thing.
Right.
But we need some level where everybody's got a chance. And right now, I don't believe that that's the case.
Yeah, I meant to ask Danny about that, actually. How ugly do you think this is going to get?
You never know. But the thing about negotiating, it never seems like anybody gets ahead of it. It's always so late. And you sit there going, why weren't they, doing this earlier?
Right.
It's like unless there's the urgency, it never seems to happen.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I honestly, as somebody who's getting into the sport more, I hope it doesn't happen either, but it just seems inevitable at this point that it is. So,
real quickly, 48-45 Tennessee, 12 and a half minutes to play in a game that has been back and forth in exactly the way you would think based on the first two games this would be played. Now 48-47.
Duke Miles has been fantastic today, by the way.
Jeff in Murfreesboro, you're up next.
How's it going, George?
How are you?
Very good. I was going to give 3 shout-outs real quick first. First one to Mitch Barnhart, who's retired, is Kentucky's athletic director. I don't know when he's going to be his last day. They're looking for one right now. He's the greatest athletic director in school history, no doubt about it. He has done more for Kentucky athletics than anyone in the history of Kentucky in the athletic department history. I hope he has a great retirement. He deserves it. I've seen a couple candidates, people that have worked for him. I know they want Peavy real bad. They want some other ones, but it's a real critical hire for Kentucky. They've got to get this right, because if they don't, it can really set their athletic department back a lot. And they've got a lot of sports that are really, really good. So they need to get a good person. The other two are SGA for breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record of most 20-point games in the NBA history, 127. He broke it last night. And Bam Adebayo for putting 83 up on the Heat. He passed Kobe's second all-time. Wilt's 100 and his 83 the other night for the Heat. And those three. And then the Florida game today, George, I watched it. It was one of the worst called games ever. I mean, one play, the kid for Florida elbows Chandler in the nose, blood running out, and they call a foul on Chandler. I mean, it's just totally ridiculous. I mean, because they dominated us on the boards. I mean, they beat our butts on the board. Couldn't get a rebound, save our life. Couldn't shoot it very well. Didn't shoot the three well. They shot 13 more free throws than we did. I mean, they're a great team. They got to prove it to me. They ain't no national championship. If Michigan, Arizona play them right now. Arizona play Florida earlier. Did they play them earlier in the season, George? They did, didn't they? Did they not?
Okay, wait a minute. Florida. Did Florida play who?
Arizona.
Arizona.
I think they did play.
First game of the year.
Really early, yeah.
Yeah, Arizona, they've been pretty bad, didn't they? They beat them. Pretty bad.
I mean, they beat them, but it wasn't like they beat them bad.
I mean, they beat them enough to where they won. I mean, I guess what I'm saying. But I mean, Florida's got to prove it to me. I mean, it was just. I mean, some of these calls this year have been ridiculous. And that Doug Child, when he retires, the whole BBN fan base was going to send him out with a big and that Jarrett. I think he wanted Florida to win before it started. They just paid him off. They would give him $200 to all these fouls and stuff. And Dykes and Ravish, I ain't got no use for them. Dykes don't know nothing about no basketball, and Carl Ravish don't know. The only reason why he's doing it is because ESPN lost the baseball. He ain't got nothing else to do. That's just my personal opinion. But if Florida win the tournament, I don't know. I know Alabama plays Ole Miss. Not been a lot of upsets, so we'll see. But Florida, you better prove it to me. And you better get to the Final Four, whatever. They're not, to me, they're not that good. But we'll see, George. And Sunday's going to be a great day because it's Christmas for all basketball fans. See you. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too. So, what do I think about Florida? I think they give people matchup problems.
Oh, yeah.
because of these three bigs. And these three bigs are not lugs. They've got some skills. And, one of them can go outside and shoot the three. I don't know if they're going to win it or not, but it's really been a good 2-year run for them.
Oh, no, 100%. And it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to repeat. I mean, would you put it past them? They're on a 12-game win streak. So I'm just interested to see where they stack up in terms of the number ones. Because Michigan, Arizona, and Duke could all lose today, tomorrow, and still be 1 seeds come Selection Sunday. Florida, on the other hand, they would probably have to win the SEC in order to be that one, but I'm interested to see where they stack up among the rest of them.
As they come out of the dead ball, Vandy has erased a 7-point deficit, and they lead 50-48 with 11:50 to play.
Chandler Bing from Friends just hit a free throw.
Mike in Melrose, welcome.
Good afternoon. I don't know if that was the Kentucky game was their worst officiated game ever. This one right here might stack up also. The Tennessee player threw 2 elbows, and they called the foul on the Vanderbilt player. And then Jalen Carey, he gets away with just shoving people the whole game. Anyway, I did hear that that's 6 years in a row now that Kentucky's gone without winning the championship. So I know they still hold the record by far for most, but they said that's the longest they've gone in their history without winning the tournament. But anyway, hey, when are you going to get Chuck Morgan to cut you another opening so we can get Parker in there instead of the young gun Billy Derrick?
I've been remiss, but I've also been dealing with a lot of stuff in my world that I'm a lot more worried about.
I'm just messing with you, George. Hey, I do have one thing to correct you on a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
You mentioned 2 players that were picked in front of Michael Jordan. One was Sam Bowie, and
I think I threw out LaRue Martin.
It was the guy that
in the wrong year.
That was Hakeem Olajuwon, which he ended up having a pretty good career.
So there was a LaRue Martin that got drafted number 1 all time, wasn't there? Number 1 in the draft, whatever year, right around then. You know what? I need to look that up. I've put that name out there, and the truth of it is, I don't know if it's right or not, but I'm about to look it up and see if I just made up some fictitious name. LaRue Martin, former professional basketball player in the controversial 72 NBA draft. The Portland Trail Blazers selected LaRue Martin as the first overall pick ahead of future Hall of Famers Julius Erving and Bob McAdoo. I was close,
there you go.
But not quite. I guess that was one of those, Mike, don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
All right, George, give us some good picks for the weekend.
You know what? It's hard to do because so many of the games, I've got one for tonight. We'll just leave it at that. Now, your dad won't like it no matter what I do.
You got that right.
Hey, you tell him I said hello.
I will do it. See you.
Hey, we'll go to the break. Vandy has gone on a tear.
Duke Miles has taken over.
Yeah. And they are up 5, 55-50 with 9:40 to play in a game that has been just like the first 2. Seesawing back and forth and back and forth. Stick around. We'll close up shop on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the
Okay. Tennessee was up 7 at 50-43. So Vandy's run is a 15-3. Make it a 17-3
or was that a
run.
30? No, that was a 2. Yeah, 17-3.
They lead Tennessee 60-53 with a little more than 8 minutes left in this ball game. And man, for a game that would appear to have very little as far as seeding and where are you going to be, they're probably both going to be 5s. Man, have they both laid it on the line.
You think about through 2.5 games, they have the exact same number of points. I mean, this is the truest form of a rubber match, and it's just been back and forth. Tennessee had the 7-point lead, and then Vanderbilt took it right back. And this is one of those games, George, that's just going to come down to the wire, but I don't see this game, regardless of outcome, affecting either one's seeding.
No, but you would love to see a fourth go at it like in the Elite Eight.
Man, wouldn't that be something?
I think both schools would take that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
So I was surprised. Mark Griffin didn't give Ole Miss much of a chance tonight.
Yeah, and to be honest, I kind of agree with him. I think Malik Dia, his confidence, his play has really elevated Ole Miss as a whole. But at the same time, it's hard to just dismiss how Alabama's looked. Now, there is the aspect of, well, Ole Miss has 2 games under their belt, but this will be their 3rd game in 3 days. They have their legs under them. Alabama may not. They've had a little bit more time to rest. But I can't get over just how well Alabama's been playing to close out the regular season.
So there is pain this weekend, perhaps for whoever has to play Florida. Boy, they look really good. And I thought Kentucky gave them a really good battle before going away at the very end. But speaking of pain, these words from the Dr. Gill Center.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
And we will talk next week with Dr. Tui, get her on here, and talk a little bit more about the initial consultation phase, which is a $49 deal where you walk in, you tell them, hey, here's the pain I'm dealing with. They're probably going to ask you, when did it start? What does it affect? And then there's a two-prong attack. One is to make it better than it is right now. The second level of it is to simply get rid of it. If that sounds like something you want to do, then dial them up. 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838.
Should we show the results here?
Sure.
20-10. Congratulations. Clemson got a very solid win over North Carolina. Caleb Wilson-less North Carolina, but still a good win nonetheless for the Tigers. They advance to the semifinals where they have a date with, is it Duke tonight?
Clemson's a really solid basketball team.
Yep.
They're, if you were going to look at, and I hear Miami and I threw Miami out, Clemson might be another one. They play really tough half-court defense. They give people a lot of trouble, and they will get in your face on defense.
And to me, that has Brad Brunell's fingerprints all over it, that exact same style of play. And yes, they do play Duke tonight. The semifinals, the winner will advance to take the winner of Miami, Virginia in the championship game tomorrow night.
Okay, so here's where I'm going tonight. Mark Griffin thinks it's Ole Miss that's going away. I think it's Oklahoma. I just do not see Oklahoma hanging with Arkansas. This may be famous last words in a tough tournament.
Yeah.
Because about the time you think you know something about a team, you look up and they're down 28-11, and you're like, where'd that come from?
That's the case all the time, especially in this month. Arkansas 6.5-point favorite tonight. Oklahoma's the first team on the first four out. They've got a major bump through the first two games of the SEC tournament. I'm still excited nonetheless. I think it can be very competitive.
Anyway, I'm taking Arkansas. I think they're going to be focused. I think Florida beating them by 37, even though it didn't feel good, in the end might have been the best thing to happen for this team to get them to play with a little more discipline. All of you have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist